welcome to this Flutecast. Welcome to this Flutecast on gear setup. This is the first of a series of Flutecasts we're going to do. That intro, I was playing over a backing track by Sergio Delua called Closer to Your Dream. Sergio Delua released that Creative Commons, which means it's free for people to use as long as he's credited, as long as the author is credited. This is a mini rig. It's actually a very, very capable rig, and it's a rig that we recommend for, especially for native flute players, to get started with gear. Gear can be daunting, gear can be complex when you first look at it, and the power of it, the power of this simple system, is going to play out over this episode and the next several episodes we're going to do developing this basic rig into something that's very powerful. The actual first version of the rig we're using is just using the microphone in through a mic cable into this mixer, a Mackie mixer, and into the headphones. I'm actually going to ignore these for now because these are going to my camera so that I can record this, but the basic setup actually looks like this. But I have to have these guys in to be able to record. So this first episode is looking at how we can hear ourselves with effects. Effects are reverb in this case. You were listening to my playing in the intro with hall reverb, and that's a very classic thing to use with Native American flutes. My voice without reverb, this is dry, that means without reverb, without effects in general, sounds like this, and with those same effects, sounds like this. A bit like I'm in a canyon, but when you hear it with flute, same flute dry, sounds like this. And we are so used to hearing the sound of the Native American flute with that reverb, some people call it flute juice, that sounds to us like the normal sound of the flute. And when people hear Native American flute without reverb, it doesn't sound as good. So this unit has reverb built into it and allows us to add it, dial it in, or for our voice, I've taken it out. This switch turns it on or mutes it. When it's red, it's muted. And so that's how you can go from talking to playing your flute, turning the reverb on and off. You dial in the amount of reverb you like to your taste, and then turn it off when you talk, and remember to turn it on when you play your flute. That's all there is to it. This episode will look at that listening to yourself mode. However, this setup is useful for an awful lot more. I demonstrated how to play a backing track into here, and I was using Bluetooth. That's what the blue light indicates. I could also wire it directly into here, and this will be done in the next episode to show you how to do that. Very straightforward. We'll also look at how to put in a second microphone or another instrument. You can put a guitar into here. There's even a switch to select the slightly different way that guitars talk to electronic gear. So there's a button to allow you to play guitar here. We can also plug a stereo input in here, such as electronic keyboard. And backing tracks can be plugged in wired or over Bluetooth here. You can also use this rig to perform a gig, a live sound reinforcement. You send the signal out these channels. You can either use these two channels here or these two channels up here. And these go out to whatever the house system is, whatever speaker system they have. You can even listen to yourself if you get really accomplished. You're going to be on stage and you're going to want to hear your own sound, and you can use the phones to send your signal back into monitors so that you can hear yourself and hear what you sound like, and that these will go to the house system. And typically an engineer will take care of that and make you sound good to the audience. The real payoff for me comes where this becomes the center of your recording studio. By plugging in the back, a laptop, this becomes an entire multi-track recording studio where you can plug all these instruments in, you can play tracks off the computer, you can add to them, you can record them back into the computer, you can record them pure without the sound of your backing track, or you can combine them right on your mixer with your backing track. And that allows you to produce any kind of professional quality recorded music. So this rig, we believe, is so valuable to get started, relatively inexpensive. I'll go through the costs in a minute. But we believe this is a great place to get started because you begin by listening to yourself, and then you maybe add some backing tracks, and maybe a friend comes over and plays guitar and you plug him in. My friend Peter comes over, I plug him in here, and we jam together, and then we go and perform. The same rig is used to perform. We're familiar with the controls. We know how they work. We've been using it for a while, and so we know everything about how to set it up. We have everything preset the way we like it. We can perform a gig no problem, and then turn around and use it as your recording studio. This is so valuable, we're actually going to, if people want to have this available, we're going to make this available at a workshop we're doing in Encino, California, Flute Harvest. Flute Harvest is a one-week workshop that we've done for 13 years now, we being Vera and I and Kalani Das. And we do this one-week workshop where the mornings are mostly flute enrichment, flute techniques, expanding our palette of tools that we have on the flute. The afternoon is mostly jamming with each other, jamming with other instruments, song forms, performance techniques, basically jamming with others. And there's a lot of special things going on in the evenings. We're looking at having this available full-time throughout the week to anybody who wants to use it. There'll be one of these available. You can work it on it solo or in pairs. And if you want, you can just sit down, put on the headphones, and listen to yourself and play with the controls and get used to how a setup like this works. So we would love to have you join us at Flute Harvest, Encino, California, in October, fluteharvest.com. So what are the components that we have here? We have an Audio-Technica AT2035 microphone. This is current price is about $160. We actually have 4 or 5 of these that we've used in workshops over the years for people to play. And also, you'll notice on the diagram I'm going to put up in a little bit that it has a pop filter. This is a pop filter. It doesn't look like the one in the diagram, but this works quite well, and it's designed for this. And you just slide it over, and it shouldn't make much of a difference in the sound, and it prevents pops from happening. Whereas you can hear the plosive. So if I get really close to the mic and the breath from the flute goes into the mic, it will make a plosive sound, whereas with the pop filter it doesn't. That's the purpose of that. There's also a shock absorber, a shock mount here, so that when you mount it to your microphone stand, if you're tapping on the floor or any sounds of a drum on the floor are not going to come in through the microphone because of the shock mount we have. So this is a standard mic cable. It looks like this. I won't unplug it because you won't hear me, but here's what the cable looks like inside. And these cables here are 1/4-inch cables, and they look like this, or the angled version looks like this. They have 3 conductors, and they're very straightforward and very, very common to use. So, as I said, that's about $160. My cables are relatively inexpensive. This unit, this is a Mackie Pro FX6 V3, version 3, Plus. And the Plus is important because the Plus allows you to connect to your computer. And that will be used in later episodes for doing all kinds of fun stuff in a recording studio kind of a setup. So a Mackie Pro FX6 V3 runs, current street prices around $250. I got this unit for $210 because I got an open box version. Somebody purchased this, took it out of the box. They may have used it a little bit. Everything was pristine on it, no fingerprints. And for whatever reason, they put it back in the box and sent it back to Sweetwater. Sweetwater is a company that sells a lot of music gear, and I've purchased a lot of music gear through them over the years, as well as a lot of other vendors. But Sweetwater is big and has been very helpful to me. So I got this as an open box for $210, save $40. So the diagram shows how to hook this up, and hooking it up just requires the cables, and you'll see in the diagram are these headphones. I'll just hold them out here. These are the headphones we recommend. This is a Beyerdynamic DT770, and these run about, let's see, what do I have for a price on a DT770? Headphones are around $180. That sounds quite expensive. And I've invested in these headphones a long time ago, and what I found was it's really, really helpful to stay with the same headphones over the years because you get to know the sound of those headphones. These headphones, you'll see in a lot of photographs of people in mixing studios, and half of the photographs you're going to see, they're using this exact model of headphones. Beyerdynamic DT770s are kind of standard. They're very comfortable to wear, especially if you're wearing them for hours and hours, which I often do. And they have a very good response. They have a very good bass response, and they are very close to what you actually hear when you put them in a pair of speakers. You can certainly go with something less expensive. If you want to get a rig like this, but you need to save some money, I would get a much less expensive headphones and start there. But when you decide to step up, consider these standard Beyerdynamic DT770 headphones. 250 ohms is going to give you the highest sound quality. And this mixer is capable of producing enough sound for you to hear clearly with the 250 ohms. You could get an 80 ohm, or you can even get a 32 ohm, and they will sound louder, but the sound quality is not quite as good. When you go up in ohms, you're going to get slightly better quality, and they're going to be quieter, but this Mackie mixer has enough power to drive those headphones. So you're going to hear clearly, and you're going to have a very high quality sound. So now we're going to zoom in, and we're going to look at the mixer in a little bit more detail and what's happening with the controls. The sound comes in here and runs down this channel. In general, each channel, the sound runs from top to bottom. In this case, it's running down here to this here, and in this case, the 5/6 is running down here. And the sound then gets accumulated and goes across the mixer to the output side. The output side has phones. You can adjust the amount of volume you have in your headphones independently from the main volume. I can turn this up and I can turn this down, and I'll get an adjustment in the main volume. This is the master. However, the headphones are independent, and you can adjust them independently from the master. The way I've got this hooked up, the mic comes in here, and my backing track is coming in 5/6. I've got my phones and my level, and the volumes are very important. One of the things I've found is it's very important, especially if you're doing a gig, especially if it's kind of in the dark or your gear is in the dark and you can't see it all that well, is to have things labeled. It's hard to remember, wait a minute, channel 1 is this and channel 2 is that, and channel 3, I got Peter in channel 3 or whatever. Tough to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to label these. I'm going to do this very, very quickly. Here we go. So there we are. I feel much better now that I can look down and know that this is mic 1. My backing tracks are here, my headphones are here, and my mains are here. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add a small marker to indicate where the effects setting is. This controls the volume of mic 1. This controls the volume of mic 2. Nothing's plugged in there, so it's turned all the way down. This is the level of the backing track. This controls something we'll look at in the future, which has to do with the computer and the sound coming in from the computer. So we're not going to deal with that here. It's turned all the way to the left. And this controls the volume of the headphones. This controls the volume going out to the main output. This guy is very important, how much effects I have. We're going to play with that right now. I'm going to speak into it, and we're in the canyon. If I turn it all the way to the left, we have no effects. And if I turn it all the way to the right, wow, we're really down in the canyon. It takes a while to find out what you like as the setting, but I like it right about there. That's the way I was playing it. I hit the FX mute in order to get back to speaking mode, but I'm actually going to put a little tick. I'm actually going to put a small label right there. And that's kind of my reference point so that I can use this as my starting point if I want to adjust my effects. So, that's it for this episode. To get you started listening to yourself playing, in the future we'll really expand on how this is used and put any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas down in the comment section below. And we hope you can join us at a workshop. We hope to see you in person at some point. Bye now.